trying to always build around what somebody does well. What is the DNA, the nucleus of what they do? Yeah. And everybody who gets to the tour is great at something because they're the top 1% of the 1% of golfers around the world. So I think people sometimes forget that, that won't work. Well, if you'd gone back 15 years, people would look at Scottie Scheffler and probably go, that's not going to work.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Yeah, and with the Clippers, Craig, it feels like Kawhi is on the island. We saw him ball out in the All-Star game the other day. Kawhi was very impressive, and he's had a fantastic season. I think when you look at the Clippers, if the Clippers' record was better, but he's still at James Harden, you would be talking about Kawhi as an MVP candidate. He's been one of the best players in the league in terms of how he's been playing. He's been fantastic.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I have my own account. I don't need to have any. He didn't say any of that. So I'm of the belief that if someone accuses you of something and you don't deny it, there's a reason you didn't deny it. Because you kind of feel like they got me. And yes, I'm not going to tell you I did it, but I did it.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
Time to Rise and Grind Radio on the early line. It is a Thursday edition, and you know the drill. 7 to 9 a.m., Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We got you covered on all the hottest topics, whether it be a game in the Big East where, boy, UConn wanted some revenge, but we didn't see that coming against St. John's here. How about a sweep for the boys on Wednesday night? Looking to do it again on a Thursday night. You got to stay tuned for all 2 hours to get those buy best bets in here. Put more money in your pocket. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about today. Exciting times, Joe, and you can see the weekend from here. It's time to get down to the business. I'm Donnie Rightside. He's Joe Ranieri, and away we go.
Yeah, Donnie, I'm excited, man. More college basketball fun happening here. Really starting to get into week 2 of spring training. So a lot on the horizon here, especially with Major League Baseball.
Absolutely. So on a Thursday morning, we're thawing out here in the Northeast. Joe, is scorching hot down there in Florida. Hockey was back in our lives. It's time to serve up some coffee. Get that hot ingredient, Joe. It's time to get caffeinated. The hottest topic of the day, Joe. Deliver it to us.
Well, Donnie, today we need to talk about the absolute scam that has become the sports apparel industry. Because if you are a sports fan who wants to support your team, support your favorite player, you are currently being held hostage by a monopoly that, quite honestly, doesn't care about you, doesn't care about quality, and is completely out of touch with reality. I'm talking, of course, about Fanatics here. And we just found out that Fanatics is selling an authentic USA World Baseball Classic jersey, Donnie. You got to get yourself one of these because it's only $420. Let me repeat that. $420 for a baseball jersey. And the punchline gets even funnier because if you cough up half of your rent to buy this thing, you don't even get it until May. The tournament starts, Donnie, next week and wraps up in March. You won't get your jersey until May. So you're paying a premium price for a jersey commemorating a tournament that will be over for close to 2 months by the time the mailman drops it off. It's an absolute joke. They essentially have a monopoly over sports retail, and they can't even get the basic shipping calendar correct. And it's not just Fanatics. because the whole industry has lost its mind. We just talked about it the other day. Look what happened with Nike and the Team USA Olympic hockey jerseys. Because after the U.S. beat Canada in that gold medal game, well, people were running to the internet to try to buy these jerseys, and guess what? Can't get them, Donnie. Why? Well, Nike didn't make enough of them because they just figured Canada was going to win. So now they are sitting on a mountain of surplus Team Canada jerseys, while America fans, well, they're left empty-handed. Multi-billion-dollar companies, Donnie, and they literally bet against America. Can you believe that? And let's be honest. Even if you do finally get your hands on one of these Fanatics products, you and I both know, Donnie, you're terrified to take it out of the packaging because anyone who's ever owned Fanatics gear over the past few years, you know what I'm talking about. You pay top dollar, you wait months, and the moment you put that thing in the washing machine for the first time, yeah, it gets ruined. It's total garbage. Even the Major League Baseball players are complaining about the uniforms that they're having to wear by Fanatics. We used to just be able to order a jersey, a hat, Donnie, a T-shirt, whatever it is, get it in a timely fashion, and wear it for a decade. Now we're paying luxury prices, and we are getting not even remote to the same service or quality. But here's the truth. We have the power, Donnie, right? Consumers. The only way to end this madness is to stop buying the products, because if we keep handing them over blindly $420 for see-through shirts, then they'll never be forced to wake up. So to those companies taking advantage of real sports fans from around the country, keep treating us like ATM machines. And something tells me you may not be around for very much longer at this rate, Donnie.
Monopolies, Joe. That's what the government used to be able to protect us from. You say, boy, I got to order this jersey. It has to go through Fanatics. In the past, you can get 1, 2, 3, or 4 different, 5 different companies. And you knew, like, hey, man, don't order from Fanatics. Make sure to order from Nike, Reebok, Adidas, or whatever company store it's going to be, because you had advantages now. Now you don't, and one company raises the price. You ever sit back right now and say, man, my energy bills for my house are so high here. And they go, ha. Well, where else you going? There's only one place to get this from. It's ridiculous that we allow this to happen, and we are complaining about it. And for myself, the Eagles win a Super Bowl. Man, I just want to get a hoodie. $129 for something that was just screen pressed on a black hoodie. And I'm saying, like, this is what we have to offer ourselves here. It's crazy to come up with, Joe. You are right. I saw that yesterday where Team USA, $400 plus for a jersey here that won't arrive till after the tournament. And there were some people in the comments, well, why would you even want it before the tournament? I don't know. To wear it while it's actually going on, that would make some sense. Great topic here, Joe, to start our day on a Thursday as we get after it. The early lineup coming to you direct. MLS, Joe, searching for a new commissioner. It begins now, looking to take themselves into the 21st, 22nd, 23rd century, Joe. Come on now.
Yeah, it's interesting, Donnie, too, because I talked to a buddy of mine in one of the in a risk room there in a Vegas sports book, and he was telling me he's kind of shocked, especially with the World Cup coming up, that how the handle is increased with leagues like the MLS that have really come a long way over the years, and more people are starting to bet on it. More and more people are starting to watch it. So I think it's pretty important they get this one correct, Donnie, and ride the wave of emotion right now for soccer fans.
Let's ride this wave of emotion for Malik Willis. Did you enjoy his 2022 Titans season? 276 yards passing. Impressive. How about in 2023, Joe? 74 yards passing for the season. Love to see it. Ooh, but wait, 2024 with the Packers, Joe. 550 yards passing on the season. And did you see last year how impressive he was with 422 yards passing? He's in demand, Joe. Big money coming his way for not a lot of stats right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, again, Donnie, coaching matters, right? Coaching matters in the NFL, and we have seen it. He went from a Tennessee Titans team that was in total turmoil, and then he lands with LaFleur in Green Bay, and look at that. All of a sudden, turns out he can be a quarterback. Let's not forget it was Vrabel who liked this kid to begin with coming out of Liberty in college there when they drafted him. You just got to be in the right spot, and I think, listen, what we saw last year with that banged-up offensive line for Green Bay and how he carried that team in spots for Jordan Love, I knew he was going to get a payday, and you know what? He deserves it. I think he'll be just fine in the NFL as a starting QB.
By the way, the Dallas Cowboys, why is it always their issue with salary contracts with players here? Maybe they can figure out how to franchise tag every single player on their team and ruin their salary cap. But Brandon Aubrey's like, I'm an ultimate weapon in the NFL. And the Cowboys are like, that's why we're going to pay a lot of money on a year-to-year basis where we can't guarantee you 5 years down the line so we can actually sign more good players. No surprise, Aubrey at ends with the Dallas Cowboys because they can't agree to a contract.
Well, and the state of the union, right? Let's face it here. If a kicker misses 2 in a row, it's like, nope, see you later. Let's get somebody else in here. So, heaven forbid he misses like, 2 2-foot putts, Donnie, right? That's it. He's going to be out of there. And that's the kind of leverage they want. So I don't blame them. Take advantage while it's hot, right? And get your money while you can.
How about UFC? They're looking to get on the lawn for the United States at the White House here. But the problem is, looks like it's costing way more than it should for an event, Joe, huh?
Yeah, well, there's a shock, Donnie. Nobody saw that coming, right? I mean, who didn't think that was going to cost a pretty penny here? And it's no longer pay-per-view, Donnie, is it? Yeah, no, not happening. So good luck with that there, Dana White.
Pay for the grass here. That's some impressive stuff. By the way, the Savannah Bananas extend their ESPN broadcast deal. Interesting here. They are very popular. It's not for me, but I can see why the kids love it, Joe.
Families love it, Donnie. And you know what? Yeah. I'm all for it, man, because it truly is some entertaining stuff, man. And I don't think you and I, even in our heyday, would have been able to pull off some of the stuff they do.
USA Hockey's $150,000 bar tab, which I believe was paid for by Pat McAfee and Sidney Crosby, out at least a month with a lower body injury, Joe.
Ouch. Just ouch. Ouch to the bill. Ouch to not having Crosby on this run. Ouch.
Yeah. And by the way, shout out to Team Canada. It's like, hey, man, Crosby's skating today, knowing like his leg was basically detached from his body. But he might have a chance to lace him up there for the gold medal game. Yep. Not going to happen. Yep. Spreadlines coming up next. Thursday edition. What you need to know. Well, back with us here on time.
Nick Kurtz will receive American League first place votes this year. You going to buy that, George? Or you want to sell that? I believe we had Caminero, we had Raleigh, we had Aaron Judge.
Bobby Witt. He'll be there as well. I'm a big fan of Kurtz. No, we're not related, by the way, for those who are wondering. Okay, not as far as I know. I keep getting that.
You're a little taller than him.
Right, just a wee bit. Yeah, Nick is a.
Be like this, actually.
I'm not sure Nick would fill in his room. Yeah, that's something like that. But my only problem with him, I think he's gonna have a great year. All right, I think he's gonna have a very good year here. He's gonna be fantastic. I picked 12 in my points league. If he's there at 12, I'm taking him. I'm just grabbing him here. I don't have a second round pick, but I'm taking him anyway. My only issue is this: they're not gonna be very good, right? They may be a little better than expected. Maybe they approach 500, maybe. But it's tough to get MVP votes when you're not winning. All right, you're not in the playoff contention or anything like that. Are you going to be able to beat out an Aaron Judge? I'll buy. I think he's going to have a big season. I think he can get one. I don't think he'll be very, it won't be top 3 or anything. But I think he can get one. Yes, I'll buy.
Yeah, I'm going to sell this. I was really I understand what the metrics said, and a lot of smart people, George, that I asked told me that Judge probably was the MVP. But man, Cal Raleigh couldn't win MVP with that season that he had last year. And I understand all we're doing is asking questions about first place votes, but don't think there's a lot of love for the voters with Sacramento, no matter what Nick Kurtz does. I'm going to sell this.
Fantasy Sports Today. Friday, starting at 3 p.m. Only on SportsGrid.
Come on, let's have some fun today. Get those spread lines that you need to know to get you ready for a Thursday night. And even, Joe, I know we don't have a spread line for this one, but did you know there is a college basketball game being played at 11 a.m. Eastern today between Charleston and Hampton? Plus 4.5 for Hampton here. So let the people know. You can grab some coffee, watch this show back to back, then watch college basketball. But the spread lines that you need to know actually include Rhode Island and St. Bonaventure. An early start, Joe, 5 p.m. dinner time here. It's a minus 2.5-point favorite for St. Bonaventure and a total of 144.5. Looking at some of the statistics here for St. Bonaventure, the worst defense in conference play. We'll see how that lines up tonight. But we got a 5 o'clock start. SBU Rhode Island, slight favorite to St. Bonnie's.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been a rough season for the Bonnies, Donnie. I mean, 3-11 in the Atlantic 10, and really at this point in the season, you're just trying to improve seeding for the upcoming conference tournament, right? I mean, Rhode Island now 6-8 in the Atlantic 10. They did have a huge win last week, Donnie, against St. Louis, and that was on the 17th. But of course, right after that win, they threw up all over themselves against LaSalle. So now they're trying to bounce back here. But the Bonnies, I mean, 3-game losing streak right now. It's just not a good situation here. Either way, we're looking at maybe an 11 seed, 13, 14 seed, somewhere along those lines. So it's a bigger game, I think, for Rhode Island to get it going, rolling in here, because I think the Bonnies very much going to be a one-and-done come tournament time.
Big West action, Joe. We're going to head out to Santa Barbara, California, the Thunderdome. Yes, that is a real place here. Riverside versus Santa Barbara here. Double-digit favorite for Santa Barbara at home, minus 10.5, Joe, and a total of 143.5. In the Big West, the number one most efficient offense, it is UCSB, which also has the best effective field goal percentage in conference play, which translates to the best three-point shooting team in conference play. It's a double-digit favorite at just about every outlet, Joe. What's that spread line for Riverside and Santa Barbara tonight?
Wow, big West battle, right? Here, Donnie. I mean, you're talking about the Gauchos here of Santa Barbara trying to solidify themselves and maybe take down the top seed out in that, and they've got a good chance of doing it. I mean, Santa Barbara for years has kind of been the class out there, but they, they've had some competition here. They've got some pretty good teams in that conference this year, but it feels like to me this is another one of those spots where I'd much rather have UC Santa Barbara in my pocket to cover than anything else, because they're playing really well offensively. They scored, more than 80 points in 2 of their last 3 games. They're making about 50% of their shots. They're zoned in. It's Santa Barbara a pass for me in this one.
What's going on in this one, Joe? Wichita State, Memphis in the American here. Memphis has lost 4 straight games, but they're the favorite tonight at minus 1.5 and a total of 146.5. Memphis still does statistically have the most efficient defense in conference play, but also 12 out of 13 on offense and efficiency. It's like they have defense and no offense and a 4-game losing streak, but they are favored tonight against Wichita State. Nice spelling there on Wichita State as well. I can respect it here. I probably would have did that as well. What's that spread line, Joe? Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I mean, we saw Wichita State, I believe, win the first meeting 74-59, and they did it as a 3.5-point favorite at home there. So now they got to go on the road, but Memphis is just going through it. How they're 7-7 in conference play is beyond me. I mean, they were expecting better things here, but we could be looking at the end of Penny Hardaway's reign there over in Memphis. This is all going to be about who can make the shots, right? The Shockers are playing better now, and they're looking to kind of move up into that number 2 spot right now, the number 2 seeding come conference tournament time here. They have the talent to be able to beat Memphis. We know Memphis has the talent, but to this point, they have not been able to put it together. Dysfunction in the locker room. I think Wichita State gets it done. I'll take the point and a half in this one here, Donnie.
By the way, 13 teams in conference, Joe. 13th at turning the basketball over. It's Memphis's offense here. If you're not even getting shots up, how are you supposed to win games? And if they lose tonight, that'll be a 5-game losing streak for Memphis here. Let's flip it over to the association. Hornets and the Pacers. If LaMelo Ball can drive correctly and get to the arena, well, that might be a good thing tonight. And by the way, have the Indiana Pacers absolutely given up on the season? Look at this line. The Charlotte Hornets are on the road, people, favored by 12.5 points over the Indiana Pacers and a total of 229.5. Do we get a complete blowout tonight, or do the Pacers actually make a stand and cover this game? What's your spread line here?
Well, I mean, you got a Charlotte team, two teams heading in two totally different directions with two different motivations, right? As much as Rick Carlisle is screaming and yelling about being fined $100K for tanking, and he swears he's not, you're not going to see Pascal Siakam in here. You're not going to see Nemba. You're not going to see any of the guys here at all. So, but Charlotte, on the other hand, they finally put it together, coming off of that 131-99 beatdown over the Bulls on Tuesday. They're going to shoot you out of the gym. And that's exactly what's going to happen here. Love that. Mikal Bridges, Diabate all returned from, the suspensions because of that fight against Detroit a few weeks ago. They are, rolling. It seems like a big number, Donnie, but I would only lay it in this spot.
Houston Rockets, Orlando Magic. The Rockets with an easy victory last night. Now they're going to play a back-to-back in Orlando. The rested team at home. A low total in this one, Joe, sitting at 215.5, but also still the Houston Rockets on the road despite winning last night and then playing again tonight. The favorites, Joe, -2 to 2.5 at most outlets that we're looking at. What is your look tonight, Rockets and Magic?
Well, Orlando coming back from actually a fairly successful West Coast road trip. They'll be back home for this one. This is going to be the third game in 4 nights, Donnie, in addition to that back-to-back there for Houston. Now, Houston at home, we have always said, right, good job. They play better defense. They shoot the ball better. And they do a great job of beating the less than 500 teams. I mean, look, they blew out Utah, and they won again in blowout fashion last night against Sacramento. Not a big challenge. This is a step up here, and this is one that I think Orlando might be sneaky good in here, and I think the dog might be barking at home here tonight.
Barking dogs tonight. 10 games in the association tonight. Going to be first tip time tonight. Miami Heat and the Philadelphia 76ers, followed by the Hornets and the Pacers. And then the nightcap tonight, the only 10 o'clock start on the West Coast. That's from the Intuit Dome. It's going to be the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Los Angeles Clippers here. A lot of bad basketball teams playing tonight, Joe, that might pique my interest. Maybe it's the Brooklyn Nets tonight. Maybe it's the Utah Jazz tonight. How about Utah getting close to 5 points at home from the Pelicans, who are the road team in elevation? Good times in the association. Winners, losers, and tankers. We got them all covered for you. We'll be right back after this short break.
How much do you think tanking is hurting the NBA right now, too, and what we're seeing, like we saw with that Jazz and Orlando game a week ago? How much do you think that's hurting the game?
I can't wait until professional sports in the United States adopts a European model, especially like a Premier League model, and they start doing relegation. The day you start doing relegation, everything changes. Everything will change.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
I ended up adding this since our show started here, Rohit, but his points prop tonight at 20.5 is the same number from the Iowa State game. That's a bit of a mistake, right? When we consider the gap in opponents here. I think Peterson specifically steps up. He needs to. I think he kind of owes this team a great performance.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
I know that Florida lost at home to Auburn, and it's a real thing that happened. So you can't strike it from the record. But if you did, I think Florida's looked like the best team in college basketball for about 2 months. And I think there are a bunch of results that suggest that.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Oh, it's the NCAA. We always say, like, boy, they need to get some teeth back into the system here. They better be able to hold up. Because back in the day, it was like, okay, we'll send a couple guys to your school, and you better admit you did wrong, and maybe we'll give you a bowl game suspension. And back in the day, Joe, remember, like, hey, your team can't be on TV for 2 years, or SMU got the actual death penalty. We don't see that anymore because money drives everything, and they don't want to hurt the institution. But now the NCAA, from the Athletic here, is proposing major penalties, including head coach suspensions, to deter teams from circumventing the transfer portal for schools that add non-portal players this spring and beyond. I have no idea how they enforce it. And if we've learned anything, that you can just take it to 16 different judges and get injunctions, still have those players play. And then when those players are no longer eligible anymore, you just drop the injunction and you send them on their way to the pros. I don't buy anything the NCAA is trying to sell me right now, Joe.
No, this is all, look good here. Like we're actually doing something and we're working for the betterment of the game and yada, yada. Yeah, no, none of that, Donnie. This is, like you said, how are you enforcing that exactly? I don't know how they do it. It's just the bark is much more dangerous than the bite, I guess, at this point is what they think.
That's Family Man from Hall & Oates right there. Leave me alone. I'm a family man. My bark is much worse than my bite. Look, we got to bring the people into some of this 80s culture, Joe, that we know so far. But how about this? The Lakers welcoming Tony Bennett as NBA draft advisor here. I have no idea what that's going to mean, but you know what I think about this? Hey, Tony, I know you're not in the NBA. You got plenty of money from college. You retired. You were successful here. JJ Redick might not be working out. Why don't we bring you in as a draft advisor? You see if you like the NBA game, and maybe you find yourself on the sideline.
Tony Bennett, didn't he do Maneater? No, I'm kidding. But Tony Bennett, he was just at that Virginia game, too, against, was it Miami the other night? It was good to see him up there. He's still very much a big part of the University of Virginia, who is, listen, they could be a player here coming out of the ACC, but I kind of felt like he just wanted nothing to do with the NIL. Donnie, he was another one of these, the old guard where it was like, it seemed like 2 weeks before the season, right? He's like, all right, I'm stepping down. I'm going to be with the family. But, guys like him, I was like, well, if it's not college, could it be the pros he's gunning for? And I think this move, Donnie, I think you're absolutely right. I think this is just a precursor to possibly him being an NBA head coach here in the very near future.
Man, coaches want to coach. Those guys are lifers. Like, yes, I want to be with the family. Then you sit back and you watch. It's like, boy, you just want to get back to work. And obviously, the human race, we are built to work. Like, it's amazing. Like, I got some time between my next job. And trust me, if you have 3 or 4 or 5 weeks off, you are bored out of your mind by day number 3. It's like, wait, I thought I was just going to play golf every day. And I don't feel like playing golf for the 4th straight day. I thought you were going fishing. I thought you were going to play video games here. By 5 days, you are bored out of your mind and you want to get back to work in this. And no surprise, Tony Bennett, if he opens the door, hey, agent, start making some phone calls. Those phone calls will be picked up, answered, and he will be back on a sideline somewhere here. Washington State forward Emmanuel Ugbo's suspension will last the rest of the season, said Coach David Riley. Last week, a Whitman County judge issued a 1-year protection order against Ugbo for a Cougar volleyball player. He hasn't played since January 28th. Yeah, never a good idea when you have a protection order against you and you want to try to get back on the court.
It's like, wow. At least, Donnie, common sense is prevailing in some situations here, because I was a little worried about it early on in this season, but it appears that people are finally starting to come around here, which is good news.
Let's get back to last night's court. And by the way, when I saw this final score, I could not believe it here. 72-40. UConn beat St. John's. And yes, the screams you can hear from Carnesecca all the way up and down the East Coast. St. John's scored 14 points in the second half. St. John's couldn't make a basket if you told them they could get $1 million per shot made. St. John's came into the game last night, Joe, 15-1 in the Big East. Got hammered by UConn. How about that one?
And they had an opportunity to just lock up the 1 seed, right? And win the Big East round, because they'd already beaten the Huskies earlier, a sweep against UConn. And basically, they're sitting atop of the Big East heading into their tournament. But when you miss 12 straight shots in the first half and then following it up, Donnie, in the second half by missing your final 24 shots, They weren't even hitting the rim. They couldn't hit the backboard. It was laughable watching how bad they were. They were so bad, Donnie, that should have counted as 2 losses last night. That's how bad they were.
By the way, like you see that tweet up there, it is like 24 straight shots, which means they made their last basket at 17:28 in the second half and didn't score for roughly an hour of game time the rest of the way.
Correct.
The longest streak in 8 years. And by the way, 8 years should be the longest streak in 80 years. Who missed 24 straight at Division I? Horrible. We'll be right back.
How much do you think tanking is hurting the NBA right now, too? And what we're seeing, like we saw with that Jazz and Orlando game a week ago, how much do you think that's hurting the game?
I can't wait until professional sports in the United States adopts a European model, especially like a Premier League model, and they start doing relegation. The day you start doing relegation, everything changes. Everything will change.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
Well, I ended up adding this since our show started here, Rohit, but his points prop tonight at 20.5 is the same number from the Iowa State game. That's a bit of a mistake, right? When we consider the gap in opponents here. I think Peterson specifically steps up. He needs to. I think he kind of owes this team a great performance.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
I know that Florida lost at home to Auburn, and it's a real thing that happened. So you can't strike it from the record. But if you did, I think Florida's looked like the best team in college basketball for about 2 months. And I think there are a bunch of results that suggest that.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Gimmicks, people. That's what you need in sports leagues, apparently, to get those ratings up. Now, you don't have to be a fool to understand through social media. You get that immediate echo chamber back where the NBA regular season, it stinks. It's boring. It's horrible. And if it were not for the actual All-Star game this year that pulled us up out of the doldrums, it might be a complete waste of time from October all the way through to March and early April till we get to the playoffs. Now, the playoffs are sensational. Players care. Good teams playing good teams. We love to see that more competition. But how about Nike? Rumored to be reviving NBA Christmas Day jerseys for the 2026-2027 season. It says, we're so back and it's fire. No, we're not. Nobody watches the NBA on Christmas Day because the NFL took that game over. So the NBA is like, hey, guys, jerseys over here. Stop.
What's the difference, Donnie? Like we just talked about. Yeah, I can order those jerseys. I won't get it until the following Christmas. That's the problem. Yeah. So what's the difference if you bring it back? You're never going to make it available for people to buy. First of all, it's not going to be affordable. And second, you're never going to be able to get it out on time. Like how we've been down this road with these companies, and I don't get it. But I will say this. The NBA won this past Christmas because those games the NFL gave us were absolutely putrid, Donnie.
By the way, it's a parent's worst nightmare, right? It's like, hey, got you the jersey, going to take you to the game Christmas Day, but you get like a printed out from a printer. Hey, here's the receipt of the jersey I bought you. It's not coming for another 3 weeks, but we're going to go to the game today when they're going to wear their Christmas jerseys. Sensational stuff. Any parents ever been through like, hey, your Game Boy or your Switch, They were sold out. I did buy it, but you're not going to get it to the 27th. Boy, it doesn't hit when you open up that box as a kid.
Yeah.
Like, this piece of paper doesn't work today when I know my friends are playing this thing right now. Let's go, man. Get those jerseys out quicker, and let's see what happens here. Here's a story I want to bring up, which has zero chance of happening. And I love the fact that rumors are going out there because maybe the predictive markets can help us out with a better number. NBA Central yesterday sent this out. There's increasing buzz that LeBron James could retire and pivot into ownership as the face of the Las Vegas expansion team, with Rich Paul potentially selling Clutch Sports to help finance the bid. There is no way that LeBron James at the end of this year is going to retire without getting all his flowers next year and heading around. Now, granted, he might retire and then be the face of the Las Vegas franchise. No way, shape, or form does it happen at the end of this year, Joe.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, more and more that he opens his mouth, the more and more we hear from him, the more and more the lack of interest in maybe doing the whole dog and pony show I'm thinking we might have here, Donnie, because I think, quite honestly, I think he's already moved on. He is absolutely ready for this next phase going on and ownership and an expansion. It would not shock me at this point, because nothing he's saying right now leads me to believe he can't wait to come back for another year, even to get rose petals thrown at his feet. Doesn't sound like he's interested in that anymore at all.
There is no way, Joe. He's just a kid from Akron that he's told you many, many times. He wants to go back to Cleveland and put on for his city one more time and scream at the top of his lungs. Let me get this right. Cleveland! This is for you. He wants to do that again. He wants those rose petals. He wants a sold-out arena 41 times where all they do is give him, he goes to Philadelphia, they give him the old rocking chair. He goes to New York, they give him like a nice portrait of maybe a 50-point night that he had in the Garden. He goes down to D.C. and he has a picture with Obama, whoever it is, and they have it signed, and away you go at this point. He wants his petals. He's going to get it, Joe. Give me the predictive market right now where I can get a fair price now. I like this stuff.
Listen, everybody knows the best thing to come out of Cleveland was Drew Carey. So settle down there, LeBron. Nobody's
Cleveland
interested in what you could. Nobody's interested in bringing you back to Cleveland at this point. They got their own issues going on there. But listen, I think the predictive markets is perfect for that market there, because the minute a headline comes out or a story is written or something pops up on social media, that market is going to be all over the place. That's a great market to be able to get in and cash out relatively quickly.
You know what would be great, though, Joe, at the end of the season, LeBron's like, I'm not retiring, I'm going back to Cleveland. Cleveland's like, well, that's news to us. We actually don't want you on the team here. We just don't have room for it at this point. Now, that would be something to ponder at this point. But how about this? Cleveland's like, you know what? Made a trade, got James Harden. Things are looking good. Oh, no. Bleacher Report, James Harden sustained a right thumb fracture in Tuesday's game against New York. The team announced he will undergo further evaluations for treatment, and it's listed as questionable tonight versus Milwaukee. Still some time before the playoffs, but a broken thumb for James Harden.
Funny story here. James Harden happened to be in South Florida during the NBA All-Star break there, and might have been sitting at a table right next to me. And his thumb looked great there at that point. Probably doesn't look all that good now. And just like that, the question is, because he's still questionable here. So I'm wondering, can he tape it? Is it, can he still make a go of it? I'm going to be very interested to see what Cleveland does with him, because don't forget, they gave up a few other pieces there that can actually play quarterback and point guard there. What choice will Cleveland have at this point? If what is he going to go on the shelf with a broken thumb? If he can still shoot it and dribble it, I don't know. He might have no choice but to keep rolling here.
Now let the 1980s Pistons play against Cleveland, knowing that James had a broken thumb there, and see how many times he gets fouled on the hand throughout the course of the first quarter there. We'll see how it plays out, but not good news there for Cleveland. These are the stories that we love, Joe. Like, we love topics on the show. Like, we can handicap games, but look at this one. Jonte Porter, banned for life by the NBA for gambling in 2024, and currently waiting sentences here, signs to play in an upstart pro basketball league. Now, let me understand this, Joe. Will we have lines available for this upstart league here? Somebody's going to put some lines out for Jonte Porter to make sure his boys get paid before he goes away.
Absolutely. Who are we kidding? You know that's coming. Don. As a matter of fact, it's probably already been established here, so we got to get in on that. But my goodness, it's the fact that he is even still being a topic of conversation right now. Like, just go away, man. Just go away.
By the way, sometimes we always talk about like the NBA off season is more important than the NBA regular season. Like, all the drama, all the guys changing teams, max contracts given out and choose it. Look at this story from Utah. We joke about this every day, and I think maybe, Joe, the NBA and also Silver are watching this show on a day-to-day basis. The commissioner saying, you know what, they might be right here. Because we've been joking about, this doesn't make sense. Why does everybody need surgery in Utah here when you told them they can't tank? Now they're just taking the tanking to another level where you can't dispute it. But how about from Legion Hoops this tweet? The NBA is sending its own independent doctors to verify Lauri Markkanen's MRI from his injury in practice today. This is getting out of hand, and I love to see it here. You know what? Credit Utah, man. You want to charge us with this? You know what? Everybody's getting injured, and everybody is getting surgery, even if they're not.
It is the great NBA tank race of 2026, Donnie.
Fantastic.
And you know what? It involves all of these smaller market teams where what choice do they have exactly here? The whole system you set up, Adam Silver, was to either keep these guys in purgatory. The only way they can actually rebuild anything is by doing exactly what they're doing. And you know what? Danny Ainge and company there running the front office at Utah, I mean, they have brought this to a different level, and kudos to them. The fact that an independent doctor has to be sent is just absolute. Used to be like that, Markkanen had an MRI, it's not good, and okay, great, we understand. Now we have to confirm that the MRI showed what you said it did. Unreal.
Somebody has to be feeding this information in, because you know why, and rightfully so. The doctors work for the NBA organization, and they get a lot of publicity saying like, hey, I have my side practice here. Did you know I'm the team doctor for the Utah Jazz? That goes a long way. But also understanding this. Hey, doc, sending you a guy over for a hamstring injury. Hint, hint. Oh, okay. Get in the MRI machine. Doctor, take a look at this. That looks pretty bad. Looks like you're going to be down for the season. Meanwhile, it might be a week or two in, but we never know that. You're just telling the doctor to say that, and he comes back. Who questions it? Nobody. Maybe somebody got a second opinion on one of those injuries for Utah and goes, this doctor said it was after the year. This one goes, nothing is wrong with this as my MRI. Ooh, this could get juicy in Utah, Joe.
I can't wait, Donnie. And listen, I mean, Rick Carlisle already came out and was like, this is awful. Not even close.
The opposite, by the way, in the NFL. They're like, broken leg. This doesn't look broken. Get back out there.
Get him out. Rub some dirt on it.
How much do you think tanking is hurting the NBA right now, too? And what we're seeing, like we saw with that Jazz and Orlando game a week ago, how much do you think that's hurting the game?
I can't wait until professional sports in the United States adopts a European model, especially like a Premier League model, and they start doing relegation. The day you start doing relegation, everything changes. Everything will change.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
Well, I ended up adding this since our show started here, Rohit, but his points prop tonight at 20.5 is the same number from the Iowa State game. That's a bit of a mistake, right? When we consider the gap in opponents here. I think Peterson specifically steps up. He needs to. I think he kind of owes this team a great performance.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
I know that Florida lost at home to Auburn, and it's a real thing that happened. So you can't strike it from the record. But if you did, I think Florida's looked like the best team in college basketball for about 2 months. And I think there are a bunch of results that suggest that.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
The two shots that were heard around the world. That was the USA women's team. Goal in overtime. The U.S. men's team. Goal in overtime. Big time ratings. A lot of fun and a lot of animosity coming from Canada here. Very upset that their sport was stolen and now is in the hands of the United States. The New York Times here from The Athletic. The Olympic men's hockey final between the U.S. and Canada was the most watched sporting event pre-9 a.m. Eastern start time in U.S. history. We woke up, we watched, we enjoyed it. And now we are a better nation. Because why? Yeah, we're the hockey champs. How about that?
That is correct. And listen, Canada hockey fans, anytime you want to come and visit the Stanley Cup, it's here in South Florida. It's a great trip. Come on down. The Cup belongs in Florida and probably is going to land there again with Tampa this year. So feel free. Come on down. Vacation anytime. It's here for you.
We don't laugh anymore, Joe, sometimes as a nation because everything is political here. And I've said it multiple times, like whether or not you are a conservative or a liberal, if you were invited to the White House, you're going to take selfies with Obama, Biden, Trump, Reagan, Bush, whoever it might be, see the Oval Office, see the White House from the inside and get to meet the president of the United States. I do it every time here. But how about this? Gold medalist Kelly Panic responds to President Donald Trump's comments following the men's hockey win. Quote, with the phone call specifically, it's not surprising to be frank. So I don't know why we expect differently, but I think for us, it's also just about getting back to the focus on our team and what our team accomplished, dominant hockey, which is right. It was dominant hockey and a sort of side comment that was designed to get a laugh here by a guy just having a good time. Sometimes people twist the words around and have some fun with that. Sometimes people take offense to it. That's just today. You tell a joke today, Joe, 50% say it's ridiculous, 50% love the joke. It's just the way it is.
Donnie, I look forward to the days where I have enough time in the day to be offended. I really do, because I just don't. Can't. I worry about things I can control, not I can't, and certainly don't let anything anybody else has to say kind of affect. It just, the whole thing is absurd. Why are we spending any time paying attention to what he says, they say? It makes no sense to me, Donnie. It really doesn't.
And it is a new age of time now because times are different. Some things you can't say that you used to be able to say before social media. But most of us who played sports and are athletes, we grew up in the locker room, which meant nothing was off limits. You had a bad night, your friends let you know about it. You had a bad night, your classmates let you know about it. You went back and forth and you were friends at the end of the day. You laughed, you cut each other up, and you moved on. Doesn't happen anymore. Everybody is always in their feelings all times of the day here. Now, Tage Thompson came back last night, scored a goal for Buffalo in a big win. Here he's talking about attending the State of the Union address.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe when you're at the signing, you might not know as much of the stuff that's going on, but at the end of the day, I think we're Americans, and we set out to accomplish something that was very difficult to do, and we did it, and we're obviously going to enjoy that. And like I said before, we're very proud to represent this country. It's a huge honor to wear those colors, and I don't think anyone on that team is going to shy away from any sort of criticism.
There you go. Tage Thompson talking about it here, how proud he is, won a gold medal, back to his sport, getting paid. Hey, it's the American dream, isn't it, Joe?
Again, it's so absurd to me, Donnie. The fact that anybody would be upset that a Olympian NHL hockey player who just brought home the gold would have to justify why he went to the state and why he would go to Washington, D.C. to be honored. The whole thing is so stupid to me. I can't even, it hurts my head. It really does. Unreal.
Pretty soon, Joe, you're going to win the Super Bowl, and they're going to be like, I can't look into this microphone and say I'm going to Disney World. That's just not going to hold up with the people out here. We'll get to that point sooner than later, but it's usually a time-honored tradition. Win something big like a championship, get invited to the White House, smile and take pictures and go home. And apparently, 50% don't like that. 50% do like that here. How about this one? Jack Hughes speaking to a Jersey crowd here. He probably should have got that mic and blows. I can't wait to get traded out of this place because there's no fans and I don't know. It's Jersey. What do you got to say?
I'm so proud and I'm so happy that the men's and women's USA hockey teams brought gold medals back to the United States of America. And you guys are making me emotional, but I'm so proud to represent the New Jersey Devils organization. And I'm so proud to represent the great state of New Jersey. So proud. From the bottom of my heart, all my teammates, USA teammates, we just want to thank you guys for all the love and the support. We feel it. Thank you.
By the way, shout out him understanding the moment where everybody wants his picture and everybody wants the chipped tooth. 99% of professional athletes, Joe, as you know as well as I do, whether it's hockey, the NFL, the minute their tooth is damaged, On Call is the best dentist in the tri-state area that can come over immediately and fix your tooth. He's still rocking that chipped tooth, and I love everything about it.
That chipped tooth is there's a lot of runway he's going to be able to use there with that. You just keep that going, man. You ride that for you can always get your teeth fixed, man. But go ahead, you just let that thing rock on. That might be the most fans in a Devils game that I've seen in a very, very long time there, Donnie. So it's good to see the place was packed out.
Yeah, it had to be. What did they give away? Free tickets, maybe lower your property taxes in New Jersey. I haven't seen that many. And by the way, were they just New York Rangers fans converting over to Devils fans for the big moment? Because we know New York fans, you jump from team to team to team. I know a few guys that were Rangers fans that were Islanders fans, a few Giants fans that were Jets fans here. I don't get one over. We don't do that in Philadelphia. You might do that in New York over there. That's not the way we do it down here. Let's keep the news going here. Bettman takes issue with the time slot of the game. Look, everybody did, but can we understand it's the tradition of the Olympics, and it happened in Italy where it's not our time zone here. Yes, you would love to, hey, we send our players here. We want the American. Understand this. You're trying to grow the game globally as well, where not everybody's going to be happy with it. And also, was it that bad from 8 a.m. to 5 a.m. on the East Coast? It's not like it was played at 1 a.m., right? Like, come on.
I mean, they were opening up bars on the West Coast at 5 a.m. and they were packed. So it's very simple. If you wanted to watch it, you got up early on a Sunday and watched it. I mean, what's the difference? Like, people wanted to see it, saw it, Donnie. They made the effort to watch it. So, and they're very glad they did, by the way.
And by the way, the NBA will tell you we don't care who watches it as long as there's clips on social media. That's all we care about. We don't care if you're watching the game. Just watch this clip of a dunk right here, and that'll count for our next CBA contract that we can use. Oh, these hot topics, people. They keep on coming your way next.
think tanking is hurting the NBA right now, too, and what we're seeing, like we saw with that Jazz and Orlando game a week ago. How much do you think that's hurting the game?
I can't wait until professional sports in the United States adopts a European model, especially like a Premier League model, and they start doing relegation. The day you start doing relegation, everything changes. Everything will change.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
Well, I ended up adding this since our show started here, Rohit, but his points prop tonight at 20.5 is the same number from the Iowa State game. That's a bit of a mistake, right? When we consider the gap in opponents here. I think Peterson specifically steps up. He needs to. I think he kind of owes this team a great performance.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
I know that Florida lost at home to Auburn, and it's a real thing that happened. So you can't strike it from the record. But if you did, If you did, I think Florida's looked like the best team in college basketball for about 2 months. And I think there are a bunch of results that suggest that.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
They call it the Palm Beaches, Joe Ranieri, very close to where you're at there. You know, a little sun, a little relaxation, a lot of high property values. But before we get there, we got some news in the golfing world. Jim Furyk, the Whirlybird Swing. He will be Golf Channel's lead analyst at the Arnold Palmer Invitational and the Players Championship. Welcome to the booth, Jim Furyk. How about that?
Yeah, he's done a number of tournaments, Donnie, where he's had the mic, where and he does a great job with it too. By the way, so looking forward to it. Listen, of all the sports, right, golf seems to have done a really good job of kind of recruiting and keeping the guys. It's a tough game, not always a lot of action going on. So if you're listening or watching golf, it's pretty important to have the right guys on the microphone. You can't see them. All you can do is hear them, because otherwise that'd be like watching paint dry in a big, big way for people.
Yeah, leave those open mics. Like, Smiley, good friend of the network here, leaving those open mics, getting yourself in trouble. That's good for the game. That's good for the growth of the game. And by the way, growth of the game back in the day, maybe you didn't have a pinpoint perfect swing. Jim Furyk gave a lot of golfers a chance to get on the golf course. Like, don't you look at this swing. Just look at the results here. Jim Furyk was certainly one of a kind here. How about this? Got some video. Shane Lowry talking about easy golf courses.
Hi, Shane. You talked about your affinity for more difficult score conditions over the course of this tournament. How far away do you think this layout is from being the same test that it was maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago when winning scores were 6, 7, 8 under?
Yeah, I don't think it is that. I think it's probably going to play easier than that, which I don't like. But here, I prefer to see it. I think, look, I'm a member of a few courses down here, and all Bermuda, and the golf courses this time of year are incredible. The Bermuda golf courses down here are unbelievable, and I feel like it's going to look great on TV. It's going to be lovely and green, and it's going to be amazing. But I probably would like to see a bit more of the old traditional setup, but it is what it is this week, and you just have to deal with the cards you're given.
By the way, playing a lot of golf, Joe, in my past, like there's some golf courses you love to play because they were easier, and some golf courses that were tough, which you enjoyed. Then there's some golf courses that were tough and unenjoyable. One of those, Joe, like Pine Valley is right next to me, within a few miles. Right across the street from Pine Valley is Trump International Philadelphia, which used to be the old Pine Hill Golf Course. Phenomenal layout golf course, Joe, but every shot you hit was from an uneven lie and a blind shot. Couldn't stand that golf course. So look at that, man. Talking about I don't like easy golf courses. Good for that pro. Good for him.
For years, Donnie, this was PGA National, and this tournament was always one of the, at the end of the year, top 3 hardest golf courses that the players would go. It's forever long. The wind blows big time this time of year. They grew out the rough. It's just, it was an impossible course. But now, since nobody's playing it, and we've got a bunch of guys with nobody knows, they're not making it like that. They don't want a 6 under par to win. They want a 26 under par to win, because they figure that's the only way people are going to be interested. It's a sad state of affairs for that golf course and where it was versus where it is right now and who's playing it.
How about Brooks Koepka on his play so far? Let's get a video of that.
Yeah, I feel really good. I think the first week was just a matter of getting out and going to go play, and then Phoenix just kind of exposed some stuff I need to work on. But I was back at it on I think we got back Saturday night, took Sunday off, and been grinding since Monday. But it feels really good. I'm excited. I know that it's progressing very, very nicely, and just want to put myself in contention here a few times before Augusta and see where everything lies. I don't know. I feel like that's a very deep question. I don't know what I want my legacy to be. I kind of don't think about it. I just try to be the best person, best golfer I can be, and then wherever things settle up, they settle up. I just don't want to look back at the end of my career and say, man, I really could have put more effort in and just give everything I've got, 100% effort, and trying to win as many tournaments and be as dedicated as I can to the game.
Brooks' legacy, Joe, is he has a lot of money. How about that? It's a great legacy to have.
How many majors does he have? Doesn't he have like 5? Like, so, dude, your legacy's already cemented. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's got 5 majors. Like, what's your legacy? You're a 5-time major winner. You know how many other people have done that? Like, yeah, that's your legacy, Brooks. You're okay. By the way, the only problem he's having is putting, but you and I both know, Donnie, that comes with playing. So he'll be fine by the time he gets to Augusta.
Get a new Scotty Cameron. It'll work things out for yourself. No big deal. By the way, weather today, Joe, first leader, guys, with going in 53 degrees. In the afternoon, 80 degrees. What's going on in Florida? Wild times. Hour number 2 on deck.